Hey, how's it going? Ryan Falkbrand here, setthepacetriathlon.com, and we are going over Ironman Texas specifically, and we're talking about what you should be looking at about 2 weeks out from race day and where you should be at. Everybody's always asking the questions that here I am at this point in time. Where are you guys at? What are you guys doing for your training? Everything like that. Is this too much? Is this too little? So I thought I'd give you a good idea of kind of the different levels of from beginner to advanced on my training plans that I do for my athletes and just for anybody that uses my training plans online through Training Peaks or kind of my final surge as well. So we're going to dive right into it. And if you have any questions or anything like that, put them in the comments. If you're seeing this on Facebook, put them in the comments there. If you're seeing this on YouTube, submit a comment there, and I'd be happy to get any information I can find for you that helps you out on your journey into finishing Ironman Texas. Specifically, right now, the time of recording is 2022. Ironman Texas is looming on the horizon here at the middle of March. So we want to make sure that you guys are ready to go on race day. So looking at about 2 weeks out. So this what you see right here in the background is going to be my beginner plan. So basically 2 weeks out, I mean, you should be in full taper mode. I kind of label it a race prep week, but it is kind of taper. The last week is really a taper. It's just a total of 4 hours worth of work on you. But the week before, you still got kind of a full week. Notice I got you about 12 hours, but that is significantly reduced from the peak of about 19 to 20 hours, just depending on which plane you're doing. So basically, you're doing mainly tempo work, and you're really not doing a 50-mile ride the weekend before, maybe a little bit less, just depends. Maybe a 10-mile run. Nothing at this point in time that should be pretty significantly reduced from your 100-mile rides, 20-mile runs, and that type of thing. So something a little bit still to keep you engaged and keep the muscular endurance because you're trying to get to race day with peak fitness but with optimal recovery. So you're going to lose a little bit of fitness in that taper period just because you're not challenging the systems as much. You're not pushing that volume and that workload, but you want to keep the tempo level up to try to maximize that time that you're doing any workouts. Keep that fitness up, but like I said, you're reducing that volume and workload to make sure that you're letting that recovery sink in. So when you hit race day, you don't really have any residual fatigue necessarily that's going to hinder your ability to finish on race day. So this, like I said, in the background is my beginner level. So you can see you've got some Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4 work, hours worth. I do have a 3 hour ride kind of the weekend before. Some people, maybe reduce to an hour and a half. Really, I'd like to see do something rather than nothing. Maybe 3 hours. If you're not really feeling totally refreshed and rejuvenated by the weekend, you think it may be a little bit too much, you can always reduce that to an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's not set in stone, but this is just my plans that I've made and put out there online. So most of this, the swims are tempo work. You got a little bit of long set recovery swim beginning of Monday. You got some tempo work on the bike ride, and you got some tempo work leading into it, but nothing crazy like the day before, a 2 mile run, a 30-minute bike ride, and some open water swimming and that type of thing. So 2 weeks out, really, I mean, you shouldn't be doing any more than this necessarily. So 50 miles and 10-mile run. You look at the advanced plan, I've got about the same, a 50-mile and a 10.5-mile run, something like that with a little bit of speed and tempo work there towards the end. So nothing crazy. It's 12 and a half hours for my advanced and 12 hours for my beginner level plan. So it's not that much variation. When you get into that 2 weeks out, you're really into taper mode, and really the level of athlete you are has really shown up in the beginning and the middle and then right at peak. And then when you get in that taper time, it's really honing in whatever fitness you captured up to that point to make sure you get your maximized recovery going into your race. So that's kind of what you should be looking at 2 weeks out. I would cap it 50-mile bike ride the weekend before, maybe a 10-mile run, and a little brick, to go off the bike ride. Just keep the legs really juiced up and not overworked, so you don't feel like you've done too much and you have to go into recovery. Because by that time, a 3 hour bike ride really shouldn't be super impactful. I mean, you probably, hopefully, have done a 100-mile bike ride or maybe a little bit more if you're an advanced athlete. So at that point in time, you really shouldn't be that drained by a 3 hour bike ride or a 50-mile ride, whatever you end up doing. So that kind of encapsulates what I envision most of my athletes, or one of the people who's been doing my plan specifically, where they should kind of be at in the spectrum of volume and workload 2 weeks out. So again, hopefully this helps you out. And if it didn't, or if you have any questions, put a comment in there. If you've seen this on YouTube, give it a like, give me a subscribe. Facebook, give it a like. If you're seeing this in my courses that I've created for different events or anything, and you have any questions, you can always email me too. info@setthepacetriathlon.com. I'll get back to you and answer all your questions. I try to leave no stone unturned, and if you have questions, I want to make sure you got answers. So hopefully that helps you out, and we'll see you out on race day at the finish line.